In this video, we will talk about the growing closeness between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. We will also understand what impact this will have on India. You may have noticed that in the past few months, especially after September 2025, the ties between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan have suddenly started becoming stronger. A new momentum has been seen in the relationship between the two Islamic countries. Recently, Saudi Arabia and Pakistan have signed a defense agreement and an economic cooperation framework. Under this, Saudi Arabia will receive military support from Pakistan. In return, Pakistan will receive investments, loans, and trade opportunities from Saudi Arabia. The relations between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan are not new. For a long time, both Islamic countries have been cooperating with each other. Millions of Pakistanis work in Saudi Arabia. They send remittances back home. Saudi investments have helped Pakistan's struggling economy many times. Saudi Arabia did all this because, in return, it received defense support from Pakistan. In 1967, both countries signed their first defense cooperation agreement. Under this agreement, Pakistani troops were deployed in Saudi Arabia. This helped the Saudi kingdom strengthen its military. The major financial assistance that Saudi Arabia has been giving to Pakistan has been a return favor for this. In exchange for the military support received from Pakistan, Saudi Arabia has rescued Pakistan financially many times. After the crushing defeat in the 1971 war at the hands of India, Pakistan's condition had become very bad. Its economy was collapsing. Even at that time, it was Saudi Arabia that rescued Pakistan. In 1973, an oil boom occurred in Saudi Arabia. This greatly increased the country's financial power. This was also good news for Pakistan because Pakistan received even more aid and assistance from Saudi Arabia. The relations between the two countries remained strong. After this, an event took place that brought both countries even closer. That event was the 1979 Islamic Revolution in Iran. After this revolution, Ruhollah Khomeini came to power. He became Iran's supreme leader. After this, Saudi Arabia's threat perception regarding Iran increased significantly. And Saudi Arabia's concern about Iran was not baseless. Because after Khomeini came to power, the very next year, in 1980, a war broke out between Iran and Iraq. The entire Gulf region became destabilized. It was a threat to Saudi Arabia's security. So, Saudi Arabia felt the need for military support at this time, and Pakistan appeared to be a suitable military partner. Discussions went on between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan. In 1982, an agreement was signed between the two countries. Under this agreement, 20,000 Pakistani troops were deployed in Saudi Arabia. Later, when Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait in 1990, the situation became even more tense. At that time, Saudi Arabia again asked Pakistan for additional troops so that it could protect its holy sites, Mecca and Medina, and secure its borders. Pakistan did help and sent an additional 11,000 troops. In this way, the cooperation between the two countries continued. And what we are noticing now is that cooperation between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan is increasing. This also has a valid reason. On 7 October 2023, Hamas attacked Israel. This destabilized the region once again. Israel retaliated as well. The Gaza war began. But this war did not remain limited to Gaza. And this was the main reason for Saudi Arabia's concern. Because the war was no longer only between Israel and Hamas. Hezbollah, Iran's proxy from Lebanon, joined the war. The Houthis, Iran's proxy from Yemen, also joined this conflict. You must have heard about the Houthi attacks in the Red Sea. Things escalated so much that there was even a 12-day direct war between Israel and Iran. The United States also joined the conflict to help Israel. The United States hit Iran's nuclear sites. So, it was obvious that Saudi Arabia felt threatened after seeing all this. Because the risk of the war spilling over has been continuously present. And the real moment of panic for Saudi Arabia came when Israel attacked Qatar. Hamas leaders were supposed to meet in Doha, the capital of Qatar. And then Israel carried out airstrikes over Doha to eliminate them. This was extremely serious because Qatar is a major ally of the United States. The largest US military base in the Middle East, the Al Udeid Air Base, is located in Qatar. So, Saudi Arabia thought that if even Qatar is not safe, then what will happen to us? This incident also raised questions about America's reliability because the United States could not even protect Qatar. After this incident, Saudi Arabia realized that it would have to look for alternative military partners as well. And at that point, Pakistan once again became a natural choice. Now, we know when it comes to Pakistan, it always remains desperate to receive help. Wherever aid and assistance are available, Pakistan is always ready. Especially after the thrashing Pakistan received at the hands of India in Operation Sindoor. After this, Pakistan is expecting even more support from the Gulf states, and Saudi Arabia knows this very well. Saudi Arabia understands Pakistan's desperation. It understands Pakistan's economic condition. Therefore, Saudi Arabia is increasing its defense cooperation with Pakistan at this time. Now, what does all this mean for India? How will Saudi Arabia's deepening defense ties with Pakistan impact India's security? Because a partnership with Saudi Arabia will boost Pakistan's confidence. With funding coming from Saudi Arabia, Pakistan will strengthen its defense capabilities. It will stabilize its economy. And after this happens, we already know Pakistan's nature. It will try to create instability in India. So India will have to handle Pakistan's nuisance. This is definitely an issue. But at the same time, we also need to see that Saudi Arabia is a close partner of India as well. And under no circumstances would a country like Saudi Arabia want to weaken its strategic partnership with India for Pakistan. Because India and Saudi Arabia have strong trade relations. There are investments and diaspora ties. For Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's Vision 2030, he needs stable partners like India. Therefore, Saudi Arabia is balancing its ties between Pakistan and India. It is treating Pakistan as a military partner and India as an economic and strategic partner. So, this revival of Saudi-Pakistan ties should be viewed purely through the prism of regional security. This is happening because of mutual convenience. Pakistan will get money and Saudi Arabia will get troops. So, each side is filling the other's vulnerabilities. This does not mean at all that Saudi Arabia will turn against India. Because Saudi Arabia knows that India is far more important for Saudi Arabia compared to Pakistan. From time to time, a sensitive and controversial nuclear angle also comes up. Repeated speculations have emerged regarding Saudi Arabia-Pakistan ties. The speculation is that Saudi Arabia is preparing to obtain nuclear weapons from Pakistan. And this speculation is not new. In 1998, when Pakistan conducted its nuclear tests, this immediately caught Saudi Arabia's attention. In the same year, Saudi Crown Prince Abdullah visited Pakistan. After this, several high-level visits from Saudi Arabia also took place in Pakistan. In 1999 and 2002, Saudi Arabia's defense minister toured the AQ Khan laboratories. These are the labs where Pakistan's atomic program was developed. From this, you can clearly understand Saudi Arabia's interest in Pakistan's nuclear program. During this period, such rumors began to rise, but the Saudi Arabia was secretly developing its own nuclear program. Because Iran is in the region and Iran's nuclear program is Saudi Arabia's biggest fear. Saudi Arabia has already stated that if Iran is not stopped, if Iran's nuclear program is not halted, then Saudi Arabia will also consider its own nuclear option. All these factors gave rise to speculation that Pakistan could supply nuclear weapons to Saudi Arabia if needed. This speculation surfaced again when Saudi Arabia and Pakistan recently signed a strategic mutual defense agreement. In September 2025, Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Field Marshal Asim Munir visited Saudi Arabia. During this visit, a strategic mutual defense agreement was signed between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. There is a very important clause in this agreement. This clause states that if aggression takes place against either country, it will be considered aggression against both countries. This means that if Pakistan is attacked, it will also be considered an attack on Saudi Arabia. And if Saudi Arabia is attacked, it will also be considered an attack on Pakistan. So, if either country is attacked, the other country will provide military support. This agreement has formally shifted Saudi Arabia-Pakistan defense ties into an alliance-like category. In such a situation, the question was raised, if tomorrow Pakistan crosses red line and India retaliates, will Saudi Arabia come to Pakistan's aid? Will it provide military support against India? The answer is No. Saudi Arabia has already clarified that this agreement has not been created against any country. It is simply a defense pact that formalizes the long-standing cooperation between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. It has not been created to target India, Iran, or any other country. Saudi Arabia has also clarified that its relationship with India is very robust and that it wants to grow this partnership even further. So, clearly, Saudi Arabia is maintaining a delicate balance between India and Pakistan. During Operation Sindoor as well, the Saudi foreign minister visited both India and Pakistan and spoke about de-escalation. Considering the geopolitical developments in the region and the global uncertainty, this is Saudi Arabia's current diplomatic approach balancing. If you understand this, then you will also understand the real strategic logic behind this defense agreement. Look, Saudi Arabia has a lot of money. It has immense financial capacity, but its military capability is very limited. Saudi Arabia does not have sufficient combat-ready manpower. It does not have the required number of troops. Secondly, Saudi Arabia is located in a region where there are threats everywhere. Instability can erupt at any time. Saudi Arabia has a conflict with its neighboring country, Yemen. There is rivalry with Iran. Even though tensions between the two countries have reduced slightly, there is still deep mistrust between them. So, because of the consistent threat from Iran and its proxies in the region, Saudi Arabia needs a dependable military backup. And in this, Pakistan fits perfectly because Pakistan has the willingness. For money, it will immediately agree to deploy its troops in a foreign country. And when there is high debt, inflation, and political instability in the country, Pakistan will welcome external funding from anywhere. This is the reason why you will notice that Saudi Arabia and Pakistan signed the Defense Pact in September 2025. And then 1 month later, in October 2025, both countries signed the Economic Cooperation Framework. This will prove to be a lifeline for Pakistan. It will help Pakistan improve sectors such as energy, mining, IT, tourism, agriculture, and food security. It will receive cooperation and investments from Saudi Arabia. Economic collaboration with Saudi Arabia will give Pakistan a great deal of confidence. Not only Saudi Arabia, but even the United States is using Pakistan in the same way. Recently, the United States announced a $500 million critical minerals investment in Pakistan because the US wants the Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan back, for which Pakistan's support will be required. This is why you will see that the United States is realigning with Pakistan. In the same way, Saudi Arabia is also using Pakistan for its own strategic interests. When it comes to the issue of nuclear weapons, both countries, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia, have repeatedly denied that Pakistan will provide nuclear weapons to Saudi Arabia, because this would be a very dangerous scenario. Hypothetically, if nuclear weapons were transferred from Pakistan to Saudi Arabia, a nuclear arms race would begin in West Asia. Iran would also respond. Israel would definitely react. Countries like Turkey and Egypt would also start considering nuclear options. So the region would enter a very risky scenario. Therefore, Pakistan's expanded nuclear outreach is merely speculation. The chances of this actually happening are very low. It is better if things remain limited only to economic and defense cooperation. This new defense pact signed between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan will definitely give Pakistan economic benefits. Pakistan will receive investment and support from Saudi Arabia. This will strengthen Pakistan's regional profile. However, there is also a risk for Pakistan, and that risk is the Joint Aggression Clause in the Defense Pact. Earlier, Pakistan could avoid involvement by saying that it would only provide military support if the situation suited it. But under this defense pact, there is an obligation that if Saudi Arabia is attacked, Pakistan will have to send its troops. This means the defense pact creates a risk of Pakistan getting entangled in West Asia's conflicts. If something happens between Pakistan and India, Saudi Arabia will not come to help. But if something happens to Saudi Arabia, then Pakistan will have to go for help. Weak and poor countries get trapped in dilemmas like this. India is now counted among major global powers. Saudi Arabia needs India in a multipolar world. India's market is essential for Saudi Arabia's economic diversification goals, which align with Mohammed bin Salman's Vision 2030. This is why you can see that Saudi Arabia's stance on the Kashmir issue has also changed. Earlier, Saudi Arabia strongly followed the line of the Organization of Islamic Countries. But now, Saudi Arabia openly says that the Kashmir dispute should be peacefully resolved between Pakistan and India. This means Saudi Arabia respects India's red lines. So in the end, we can conclude that Saudi-Pakistan defense ties are definitely deepening. But India is confident that it has strong economic, strategic and energy ties with Saudi Arabia. It is highly unlikely that Saudi Arabia will get involved in wars outside its immediate neighborhood. Saudi Arabia's entire focus is on its own national security. A recent example of this is that after the Defence Pact was signed, a conflict broke out between Pakistan and Afghanistan in September 2025. Pakistan carried out aerial strikes on Kabul. The Afghan Taliban also retaliated. Did Saudi Arabia send military support to Pakistan? No. It only talked about de-escalation. This clearly shows that Saudi Arabia has very little willingness to get militarily involved. So Saudi Arabia will definitely not take Pakistan's side in an India-Pakistan conflict. It will try to balance its ties. It will talk about de-escalation. But Saudi Arabia will not compromise its economic, political and strategic interests with India. Saudi Arabia will not risk its long-term partnership with India by openly siding with Pakistan. So we can say that the Saudi-Pakistan Defence Pact will not prove to be a direct military threat to India. India will certainly monitor it closely, but it is neither a direct nor an immediate security threat for India.